what I respect is political participation. And what I also respect is the idea that it has to be meaningful. So that if people aren't participating because they don't feel it's meaningful, then let's look at that. We can fix the voting equipment. You know, it's just, it's not.
Well, apparently they have been fixed.
Right, that's not what I mean. But one of the things in
we
this
can make them reliable.
I talk about solutions in the film because solutions are really, really important. A lot of times we just talk about problems, but we show two different systems in the film that I think are very reliable ways to count votes. And if you give people confidence that their vote is being counted and that policy decisions are being made based on the feelings that people have, people will start to participate.
But those are two huge issues, but they're very separate in my mind, because just because your vote counts doesn't necessarily mean that policy is made according to your...
They are very separate. One of the other things that we talk about is getting the influence of money out of politics, and I am a big believer in public financing. I think it has worked, and this is the other thing that's so exciting to me, is that so many of these solutions are already being tried and can be taken to a national level. And once people are aware of all the work that's going on, I think they can start to feel more powerful. They can say, yeah, I can participate, and it can make a difference.
Well, why is it that, I mean, you do have these positive stories in the film about things that are working,
right,
system-wise.
Right, I'm sorry, I want to say the other things that we talk about are the media. We really need to get to a point where we're having more issue-based coverage in the media. I think that's incredibly important, and get away from all this horse race coverage that we have.
You want them to talk about ideas?
I do.
Wow.
I work in the media, and I'm appalled at the fact that we very rarely talk about the policies that the candidates are going to affect.
And he doesn't wear that pin sometimes, which makes him a communist.
Sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he doesn't, and I think we need to spend a lot of time talking about that. Right. No, so I mean, information is incredibly important to a functioning democracy. That's one of we've got to get to a point where the media is talking about issues, and I think we've got to get better and a more wide range of candidates on the ballot. So we talk about third-party access and just ballot access. There are so many restrictions to people getting on the ballot, and that is also really important.
Well, it's funny because, you know, in this election cycle, we have this thing, oh, a black man can be president or a woman can be president. That was part of the big breakthrough. But it's not really true, because there are so many hurdles for anyone to get on the ballot, regardless of their race or gender.
Yeah, well, in the...
I mean, I got to be fairly wealthy or damn well connected.
Yeah, there are ways in which the process is meaningless. When you say, who can be on the ballot? Oh, only these two individuals over here can be on the ballot. Then, yeah, people don't have a real choice, and they know they don't have a real choice, and that's one of the reasons that they're not participating.
And why do you think this is? Do you think that the rules that are set up, that have been set up, are just archaic, or do you think there's actually something, I don't want to say conspiratorial, but sort of a systemic desire to keep people out of running for office?
It's not conspiratorial.
I said I didn't want to use that word. I just hoped you would.
If you look at it, it's very clear what goes on. The people who are in power make the rules to determine who is going to be in power next. Democrats and Republicans make the rules about who can get on the ballot.
Right.
Well, of course, it makes more sense for them to make sure that only Democrats and Republicans can get on the ballot. And
well, if not conspiratorial, that's collusionary, isn't it?
It's just common sense. If you're in power and you're making the rules, you're going to make the rules to benefit yourself. And that's the same thing that's happening with fundraising rules, and it's the same thing that's happening with rules about the Electoral College. It's the same thing that happens with gerrymandering. The rules are being made by the people who are going to benefit from the rules. But, okay, and this is another serious problem that we have. In other Western democracies, elections are not controlled by the political parties. Elections are run by neutral officials.
That sounds promising.
What a concept, right? Well, I mean, gee, is it a problem if the Secretary of State, the person who's in charge of the election, is a member of or possibly even the head of the campaign committee for one of the candidates? Would that be a conflict of interest? Let me think.
It would never happen in this country, in Florida or Ohio.
Right. But I mean, this is just something that we need to move beyond. We need to have neutral officials administering our elections and making sure that they're being run properly. And yes, making some of these rules that affect all candidates. The rules need to be made in a more even-handed way.
Well, thank you, Lulu Fries'dat, for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
You can do the
I don't know how to do it. What do
You
I
do
do
the
there?
pimp snap?
No.
Yeah, you just like,
Yeah?
you pull away like that. You sort of
Oh, I
snap
don't-
as you
I
go.
gotta-
See, it goes like
Yeah?
this, and then like
Yeah?
this, and then you go.
Oh,
That's the pimp snap.
wow, you're good.